What's up guys, Seth here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions, and today we're going to be going over the brand new game mode that has just entered the game, and that is Towers. So Towers has just been added as a new permanent game mode in MCOC, and I am hyped. So this video, I want to go over basically everything that you need to know to get started and get good at Towers. So as I said, Towers is permanent content. What permanent content means is that it is permanent in the game. It is not just for a monthly event or for a certain amount of time. Towers is basically a new game mode where the difficulty of the challenge depends on how big of a roster that you've got. And you want to grow your roster to be able to clear more and more of the challenge and get further and further into the challenge to be able to get higher and higher rewards. So class towers is the first main thing to release. You've got your challenge towers. They're the kind of more niche event-based situation. I'm gonna go over the saga tower in a completely separate video because that gets a bit more in the weeds. So outside of the challenge tower, the main thing you're going to be focusing on in towers right now is the class towers. In the first week of towers, they have released the skill tower and the mutant tower, and they're going to be later releasing the cosmic, tech, mystic, and science towers. What these towers mean is basically the class that you can bring into them. So in the skill tower, you can only use skill champions. In the mutant tower, you can only use mutant champions. So what does that actually look like? So your skill tower, if I enter in here, you'll see I'm up to block 80 on floor 1. What that means is I'm up to the 80th block and I'm up to the first fight in that block. The towers are endless at the moment. As far as we're aware, they are endless. The only thing that caps out how far you can go in towers is your roster. What you'll notice about these opponents is that they don't actually have a power index. They've got these little 250 CR. So what's this mean? What is CR? In pretty much all eventing, questing, the way that you can tell how difficult an opponent is going to be is based on your PI, which is your power index. You'll see right now, Null has got 71,756 power index, but if you go into his kit, there's a whole new little section in here, which is your challenge rating. And you'll see that Null as a champion has a challenge rating of 270. And basically your challenge rating increases with your rank. So a rank 1 champion has a lot less than a rank 5 champion, but it also increases with your ascension level. The challenge rating is disproportionate with Ascension. So Ascension has a hell of a lot of value for your challenge rating. And your challenge rating is realistically the most important thing in towers because your challenge rating is going to dictate how much damage you're doing. So for example, my Jack-o'-lantern is at rank 5 and he's got a challenge rating of 240. If I have a look instead at one of my rank 4 champions like Pavita, just because he's ascended, he's actually got a higher challenge rating than Jack. So a rank 4 ascended champion actually outperforms a rank 5 champion. I know that Ascension is a bit of a cap thing. A lot of the people that have a lot of ascended champions are the whale accounts, but it helps a little bit to even it out for people that don't have as many rank up resources to get as many rank 5s as possible. And so rather than focusing on, getting a champion from rank 3 to rank 4, which is a really high expense rank up, you could be focusing instead on getting an ascended champion from rank 1 to rank 2 or rank 2 to rank 3, and they could perform better than what the rank 4 champion could. With 6 stars as well, your challenge rating doesn't improve with Ascension, so that really doesn't matter. You're capped at 150 with 6 stars. So once you get higher up into the blocks, 6 stars aren't really feasible. This is a 7-star man's game, okay? But once you're at rank 1, you're already starting at 200. Ascension levels for rank 1, you're jumping up to 215 and 230. For rank 2, you're going up to 210, and then with Ascension up to 225 and 240. For rank 3, you're going from 220 to up to 235 and 250. And then rank 4, you're at the 230 to 245 to 260, and so on up to your rank 5s at your 240, 255, and 270, as I showed for Null for the rank 5 Ascension 2. So it scales a little bit skewed, catering a lot towards Ascension, but it means that you can get away with having some lower ranked champions if you end up getting a little lucky with the Ascensions too. I understand it's still a whale fest. I know that the whale accounts are going to get higher in this than any other accounts. That's kind of the way of this game. This is a pay to win game. You can pay money. We always knew that's how it was. I just think that this scales a little bit better than other game modes have in the past as well. So what does it actually look like playing this game mode? Now you can see at the moment in the mutant tower, I'm up to block 68. I will preface as well, in this game mode, depending on your progression, you will leap forward in your progression as well. So it means that you don't have to start all the way down at block 1. Sort of similar to what Battlegrounds does, where if you finish the Battlegrounds season, you'll jump up to like Diamond 5 or whatever it is, and you'll get all the rewards after a few matches. You've got a lot less work to do to get up to sort of the cap of what your roster can handle. So in the towers, as I said, you've got your blocks and you've got your floors. Your blocks is the tower itself. So if we look at this tower here, this is one block. And then you'll see there are 12 floors to this tower, and each floor is a fight. Now the fights do vary, the amount of fights you got to do vary, and the challenge rating increases as you get further and further into the blocks. But the fights aren't particularly difficult. So all you've got to do is be a little bit smart with who you're using to try to get through these fights as quickly as possible, because the only thing that matters in towers is the speed that you're doing the fight. The opponents do not have a special 3. You can get them against the wall like you do in Realm of Legends and just hit into them as much as you can, use a striker as much as you can, use the special attacks, don't have to worry about the special 3. The next thing, it also pauses your timer when you're using your special attacks. So if you're using a champion that has a really time-consuming special attack like Mole Man or Onslaught or Cassandra Nova, you won't have to worry about waiting for that special attack because it'll pause the timer. You're not burning time by using it. But all you got to do is try and get through these fights in 1 minute. If you can beat the champions within 1 minute, you move on. The only thing that is going to limit you with how much you can do in towers and how far you can push is your challenge rating, whether you can beat the opponent, but also whether you can beat the opponent within very minimal or 1 attempt. So you'll see down the bottom here, I've got this little 6 out of 10 bar. That is your energy, or your keys as they are. You basically get 10 keys per week, and you use a key every time you enter a fight. If you win that fight though, you get the key back. If I do this whole block and I win every single fight, I will not have used a single key, because I use a key to get into fight 1, I get a key back. I use a key to get into fight 2, I get a key back, and so on and so forth until you get to the end of the block. And if you've soloed every single fight, you've used no keys. What you're thinking is, you know, these are pretty easy fights. The issue is that you need a unique champion for every fight. So if we look into this team lineup here, it's going to give me my whole mutant roster. And this is where I basically figure out who I'm going to use for every fight. If we look through these champions here, you know, Thor, Iron Fist, Ronan, none of them have anything particularly difficult to deal with. Odin could be a little bit tanky. Maybe I want to prioritize one of my big hitters for him, so maybe we would chuck in Gentle, for example. And Baku, I don't really know how to fight in Baku too much, so maybe I want to go for a bit of a tankier option. Maybe I'll chuck in my Onslaught there. You know, you're making these decisions based on the competition to see what options you've got. And I guess once you've figured out the difficult fights, you can kind of just chuck in whoever you want to use outside of that. And so with the choices that you're making in these fights, you can get very, very specific with it. You can plan this out to a T if you want to. And there's another way to get very, very niche, and that's with your mastery loadouts. So in towers, a feature of towers is that it doesn't cost you anything to change your mastery loadouts. This bottom part of the screen here, I'm changing loadouts that would normally cost units to change without any cost. So what it means is you can make a very specific mastery layout depending on the tower that you're going up against. So for example, if we were looking at doing the mutant tower and I wanted to change my masteries around, we could head in here and, for example, put up the mutagenesis mastery all the way. Or maybe we would just want to max out literally all attack and then not worry about any defense. Because as I said, you just got to get through it as fast as you possibly can. So if you want to be really specific with this, you can get very, very niche. You can make builds specific to the classes, you can make builds specific to the types of champions you're using. And what that means is that you can push a bit further than what your challenge rating might allow you. So with some smart choices, you can get very, very far in this game mode and get very, very solid rewards without needing the width of roster that other accounts have as well. Now in towers, there is a big amount of rewards available. Now obviously this is permanent content, so it's not like you're going to be cycling these rewards every month, but you can see it in my skill tower, for example. From clearing one block now, I'm getting 1,500 7-star shards, 45,000 tier 3 alpha or a full tier 3 alpha, quarter of a tier 4 alpha, more than one of a tier 5 science catalyst, a tier 6 basic, and nearly a whole tier 6 science as well. With this being permanent content, you're not expected to get through it all and then never touch it again. Sure, at the start, grind through the lower ones, get up to your kind of point of resistance where you're finding you're not actually able to get through the block anymore, and then wait. Maybe you've got a block to get through where you need to do 15 fights and you've only got 13 champions that can actually beat it in time. Maybe you've got to wait a month. Maybe you've got to wait until you've got 2 more of those champions of that class ranked up so you can go back in there and clear that block and get those rewards. And I know what you might be thinking. Doing all of that stuff, getting those rank ups for what, 1,500 7-star shards and some catalyst fragments, that's not really worth it. That's where the monthly rewards come in. And the monthly rewards in this are based on your tower ranking. So your tower ranking is pretty much how far into towers you are. So it takes into account your class towers, it takes into account your saga tower, and it gives you a total rating. So you can see right now that my rating is 1,139, and that has put me at currently 4,518th in the world. You can see that the top ranks right now are around the 1,700 points, and it gets very, very close once you get to the top. You know, they're all between like the 1,600, 1,700 points in that sort of top 20 range, or even more than that, even the top 30 range. And what this tower rankings does is it assigns you your monthly rewards. So your monthly rewards is basically going to be radiance. And the reason that this is awesome, the reason that this is a huge deal, is because this is permanent content with a monthly event built into it. Because this is tied to permanent content and tied to a leaderboard, if you get up to say 80 blocks and you do your saga tower, and say that gets you up to, you know, 5,000th in the world. Say you do all that stuff and you get up to 5,000th in the world. Because this is permanent content and it's based off the leaderboard, next month you'll also be 5,000th in the world. And as long as you're doing your rank ups and you're trying to be able to improve slightly each month, maybe at the end of the month, you're able to clear an extra couple of blocks for each class, and maybe a new saga tower comes out and you complete that. And maybe you stay around that 5,000 in the world, or maybe you even get up a little higher than that. You're gonna get those rewards every month based off of the grind that you did originally. So right now, if I was to leave this, if I was to say, you know what, I'm done with towers, I'm satisfied, I'm happy to leave it there, and I'm currently 4,500 in the world, that's probably putting me in the top maybe 1%, top 2 to 3%. I could expect to get 65,000 radiance from just being at that point in the leaderboard from now on. That's crazy. That's so good. So it basically creates a passive income of radiance. So rather than having to, you know, a new side event comes out, grind the side event so much, play it as much as you can, do this as much as you can, get the chunk of rewards at the end, and then it's over. And then a new event comes out and you've got to grind as much as you can and grind as much as you can to get the rewards, and then it's over. This, yes, is grinding at the start. You've got to do a lot of stuff to get up to the high rankings, but once you're there, life's good. Life is good because the top players in this, if you're at the top spot, if you can clear the most amount of blocks in the world, 300,000 radiance in a month is an insane reward. It is huge. Obviously things could change, things could switch up, and they could change the leaderboard to something else, or they could change the rewards each month. But the premise set by towers means that you could get so much stuff off of this game mode. And yes, it is grindy. The grinding of towers just itches this spot in the back of my brain that as much as I enjoy grinding in a game and trying to get as much as the rewards as possible, Arena is a brain dead part of the game. At the moment, I pretty much grind Arena constantly just to be able to farm units. That's one thing that obviously Towers doesn't provide is units, so I'm still gonna have to grind Arena on top of Towers, but it sets the baseline for such good rewards so that if you can, you know, stay a little bit competitive in this, you can get a lot of rewards from this. Like, it's a huge bump in rewards based on this. Now at the moment, there also is another event tied to the Towers, and that is the Warlock event. This is the special event right now. This is where you're gonna get a bunch more rewards too, but it's basically just for completing Towers. By doing the class Towers, you're gonna also put up a bunch of points in this event right now. And if you and everyone else does this challenge, then you're gonna be able to get up to a 7-star Warlock, dupe 7-star Warlock, and his Ascension token to be able to get him to Ascension rank 1 as well. So there's a bunch of rewards in here. There's so many catalysts and so many shards to be that's up for grabs. So definitely get in right now. At least do some Towers to be able to get some of these rewards in the next 19 days. But outside of that, as I said, I'm going to be doing some grinding, seeing how far I can get into each class tower, see what position I can get worldwide to hopefully get some of those solid rewards as well, because this has potential to be big. You know, there's been a lot of game modes that have come into the game and disappeared, or side events that have had promise but haven't quite delivered. And this being a new permanent game mode, I'm so hyped for. This game mode is the perfect amount of grind, a good amount of rewards, and sets a premise that is just golden. It keeps the whale accounts happy. They can get their higher champion rank up supplies, but it also satisfies the collectors. It gives you a bunch of Mysterium, a bunch of catalysts, a bunch of shards. It gives you so much of everything. I think you're going to be able to find things that you're after for any player out there. It'll become more intuitive the more you play, and I think that this is definitely something that you don't want to miss out on because the rewards in here are cracked. But that's really all I wanted to go over, guys. That's all I got to talk about today. I'll be back with some more videos soon, back with some more Towers content. If you like this video, if you got anything from it, if you learn how Towers work, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment if you've got a question. And thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.